It Follows. Again by Mikemallow. My husband and I weren't originally going to get married, but after having a baby, my parents insisted. Don't get me wrong, I'm extremely happy. It has just never been a prospect we really ever thought about. My husband is a bit of a strange man. He was a software designer who just kind of showed up in our little town out of nowhere. He's absolutely perfect though. We live in uptown in this gorgeous suburban arrest. My parents are quite wealthy, so they actually bought it for us as a wedding gift. They paid all the expenses. All we have to worry about is electricity and water. The house, akin to my husband and family, is perfection. I had stepped out this morning to tend to the garden while my husband slept. It was just my daughter and I. After a little bit I started to get this sinking feeling in my stomach. I felt like I was going to be sick. I sat down to compose myself. That's when I noticed the pair of eyes staring at me through the bushes. They were gone as soon as they appeared, but there was no mistaking it. Something was there. Something was watching me. Needless to say, I told my husband. What he told me next, however, did nothing to calm me down. He explained to me what had happened to him 3 years ago, how he was convinced something was watching him, and how it came for him at night. He showed me this old set of documents he wrote from the times it tormented him. There was a picture of its footprints along with a description of this nauseating smell it left behind. And at the very end, another picture that was taken from a camera he set up, that showed the creature. I could see the sheer terror in his eyes when he explained his past. While I was looking over his old documents, he went outside to have a look for himself, just to be sure. He came back in with this look of dread and told me he didn't think it was safe here anymore. He didn't need to tell me for me to notice it myself, but just as described in his documents, I could smell the mix of burning rubber and gasoline. It was still early in the day, which eased my fear but seemed to do nothing to ease that of my husband's. He told me to spend the time securing the doors and windows while he moved our daughter's bed in with ours. I had her with me as I went around the house, both inside and outside, locking all the doors and windows and then moving furniture in front of the windows. When I was out back, checking our basement window, I noticed deep scratch marks all around the cement casing. When I got back inside, my husband had finished moving the bed, along with some food and water bottles, into our room. He seemed glad that I believed him so reluctantly. He told me how no one took him seriously before. I can't say I blame. If I hadn't seen the scratches, and smelled that sickening odor, perhaps I would have just taken our daughter and left. But I believe my husband. I mean, why wouldn't I? Night seemed to creep up on us rather quickly. We spent most of the day talking about what had happened to my husband 3 years earlier. Thankfully our daughter loved to draw, so she sat quietly beside us. We tucked our daughter into bed, and sat awake for several more hours. We did eventually end up falling asleep, but it didn't last long. I was awoken to the piercing sound of something sharp being pulled across glass, followed by my daughter's shrieking cry. I ran to her side. The sound had obviously startled her awake and caused her to scream out of fear. The sun was casting light through window behind us. It was half covered by a bookshelf, but there were very obvious long scratches all across the glass. I gave my husband a worried look as I cared for our very frightened daughter. My husband went to make a few calls, try and get us a hotel, and then anywhere but here. There was no such luck. All the hotels are currently booked due to the festival in town, and my husband says it's no use calling the police. We're running out of options and I'm scared, not just for my own life but for the lives of us all. Thankfully today has been uneventful, as far as being tormented by whatever it is goes. Our daughter has been asking to go out. It's getting harder and harder to keep her occupied and to keep her from wondering why we are here. We've been telling her that it's just some family time, that we are playing some game, but she's losing interest. Sleep went a lot more smoothly than the night before, no scratching, nor anything else to wake us up. That is until our daughter decided it was time for us to be up. She woke me up excitedly, telling me to look at her newest drawing. She told me it was a picture of her and her new friend. I could feel the sweat form on my palms. My husband couldn't hide the fear in his voice when he asked why she drew that. She said that her new friend came to the window last night to talk with her. I regret asking what her and her new friend talked about. She said that her friend just wanted to play with her, and wanted her to open the window. Thank God she couldn't open it. What she said next though gave me goosebumps. My friend said he doesn't like Daddy though. He said he wanted me to go out and play with him and that Daddy was mean for keeping me in here. My friend is right. A 3-year-old can't come up with that stuff on their own. I want to leave so badly, but my husband says it's safest in here until Monday morning when we can get an airplane ticket. I don't feel safe though. I spent the whole day triple checking every window and door. The nauseating odor was stronger than ever. At first I could hardly breathe at first, but I pushed through. The deep scratches lined the house. This thing was trying desperately to get in. I rushed back inside after I was sure the place was secure. My husband did the same thing after me. Thankfully we both concluded the place was safe. When night came, sleep was proving to be almost impossible. I wish I hadn't fallen asleep though. I woke up to the sound of glass shattering. The next thing I knew, the foul smell burned through my lungs like poison, and this horrible thing was on me. I flailed against it, but it was strong as hell. I was knocked to the floor. I woke up a little while later. The glass from the broken window lay around me. I was covered in blood and it wasn't my own. My husband's mangled corpse lay across the bed. That thing came in, murdered him and attacked me. I couldn't contain myself and needed up vomiting on the floor. The true fear didn't really kick in however, until I realized my daughter was missing. I ran out calling for her, but no answer. This thing came into my home, killed my husband, attacked me and kidnapped my daughter. I was going to get her back though. Couple found dead in home. A man and a woman found dead in their home earlier today. Reports say the woman was dragged back inside. The wounds left on their bodies resemble an animal attack, but police haven't confirmed a cause of death. Local authorities say they are on the search for their now missing daughter.